We live in a world of gross immorality. This is something that we certainly all recognize. And oftentimes we wonder, is there anything that we can do? Is there anything that the church can do? Long ago, David wrote in Psalm 11 and verse 3, "If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do?" In a day when the moral foundations of our world are being destroyed, even in our beloved America, we might well ask ourselves, what can we do? What can the church do? Well, perhaps our emphasis should be, what can the church do to avoid being contaminated herself? And today I'd like to suggest a few things that the church can do. First, the church can avoid the danger of conformity. Paul said, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." Romans 12:2. The importance of that cannot be overstated. The church is in the world, but must not be of the world. The old illustration is good. The ship is safe being in the water, but when the water gets into the ship, that's when there is danger. Well, the same principle applies when the world gets into the church. The church is in the world to influence the world for good. But whenever the world starts to get into the church, then that influence for good is lost and the church is in great danger. And having been called out of the world, the church must maintain that separate position. Peter said of Christians, "But ye are an elect race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, that ye may show forth the excellencies of him who called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light." 1 Peter 2:9. Secondly, the church can maintain its purity. It can be a proper example to the rest of the world, as we've previously implied. We can have a leavening influence for good. Paul said, "Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump," 1 Corinthians 5:6. And that was said of the evil circumstances in the church at Corinth. But the principle is also true of good things. The reference in Matthew chapter 5 in the Sermon on the Mount, it records Jesus saying to those that were living under the law of Moses, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and trodden under foot of men. Ye are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a lamp, and put it under the bushel, but on a stand, and it shineth unto all that are in the house. Even so let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father, which is in heaven." Matthew 5, verses 13 through 16. Now, although this was directed to those who were living under the law of Moses, here again the essence of these words is equally so to those living under this new covenant. Solomon said that the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day, Proverbs 4 and verse 18. Here again we see a foundational truth of the righteous of any era, whether it's Mosaic or Christian. And this is Romans 15 and verse 4, where we see this applied, that whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the Scriptures, might have hope. You may remember Paul told the brethren in Corinth that ye are our epistle, written in our hearts, known and read of all men. Folks, this is something that we need to remember, because when people see the good and honest and pure lives of those who are a part of the body of Christ, then they will see the effect and the impact that we will have on the world around us. Whenever we think of this concept as being the salt of the earth, and we think about the seasoning effect that the Christian life can have upon those that are influenced by it, we need to make sure that in this day and time where it seems that sin is running rampant, that we are that influence of Christian purity. Friends, we want to thank you for joining us for our program today, and have a blessed day.